Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that sounds really basic on the surface, but it actually holds the key to some major quality control. We're talking about the Simple Voice Recorder app.
hmm
Your sources zeroed in on this one program, Voice Record, add, and they highlighted this suite of hidden controls they called the CATCHY tools.
Right?
And I mean, if you've ever recorded something really important, an interview, maybe a lecture, or just a quick idea, and then you play it back and it's just a garbled
Oh, it's
mess.
the worst feeling.
It is. You know the stakes are high. So today, our mission is to extract that precise knowledge that turns a useless file into crystal clear audio. This is all about the how and the why behind those powerful, but, often ignored features.
And we should probably just acknowledge the immediate ambiguity here.
Yeah.
The name itself, voice record, add, it kind of points in a few different directions.
Yeah.
When you hear audio pros, they're going to think of these, full-service applications. Things like Audacity,
Right, the big free one.
the big free one. It's globally popular, a desktop editor. Or, the other end of the spectrum is Adobe Audition, which is the industry gold standard.
But those are massive programs. I mean, they take
Yeah.
real dedication to learn. And the most important clue, I think, buried in your sources is that little giveaway, the mention that the app contains ads.
That's the signpost.
It's the signpost.
It is. It confirms we can probably ignore the huge learning curve of a professional desktop suite, and instead we can focus on the fact that these simple, really common mobile apps are now embedding professional level quality control.
Okay.
So the real insight here isn't the app's name. It's recognizing that these so-called catchy tools, they're actually essential instruments that can elevate your recording from just amateur to, reliable.
Okay, so let's jump straight into those hidden controls then. We've organized them by function, starting with the really foundational stuff that defines the quality of the raw file.
You're right. First up, and this sounds so obvious, you have to confirm that high-quality recording is actually enabled.
You'd think that's the default.
You would, but a lot of generic recorders default to low quality just to save space. And you can't fix poor quality later. It has to be captured clearly on that first pass, especially if you're recording nuanced speech or, a musical idea.
Okay, so you've got the raw quality set. Then you have a pretty critical choice to make about formats. The app supports both MP3 and OGG. So how do you choose? When should you pick one over the other?
It's that classic trade-off, right? Between
Mhm.
something that works everywhere and something that's maybe a little more efficient.
Ubiquity versus efficiency.
Exactly. If you need absolute certainty that the file will open instantly on any device, Windows, a Mac, an old phone, some pure transcription service, just go with MP3. It's the universal standard.
Okay.
However, ODG is technically it's superior in a lot of ways. It often gives you better compression at the same quality level, which just means smaller files.
So for long recordings.
Yes. If you're recording a really long meeting or a multi-hour lecture, OGG is going to save you a significant amount of storage space without sacrificing that fidelity. You just have to be sure your recipient or your playback device can handle OGG files.
So we've decided how to store the file, but what about making sure the sound going in is actually perfect while we're speaking? This is where those engineering grade tools come in. I'm talking about the live audio spectrum analyzer. That just sounds like overkill for a quick voice note.
It sounds like it, but it's anything but overkill. I mean, this is the real difference between recording blind and recording with full awareness.
Yeah.
The spectrum analyzer is a visual display. It shows you the volume levels across all the frequencies, from the deep bass all the way up to the high-pitched treble.
Yeah.
And it does it in real time.
So you can see the sound.
You see the sound. If you're recording and you see, say, a blue line suddenly spike in the low end, you know instantly that you're too close to the mic. Or maybe there's wind noise or a truck driving by.
Yeah.
It lets you monitor and troubleshoot your recording environment while you're still recording.
Not hours later when it's too late to do anything about it.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's a live radar for sound quality. And that analyzer is pretty useless unless you have the control to actually fix the problems it flags. Which brings us to what is arguably the most critical, catchy tool here. Microphone gain calibration.
This is the absolute powerhouse feature. It really is. Gain calibration, it just means adjusting the microphone's input sensitivity.
So not just volume.
Not just volume. Think of it like setting the perfect volume knob for your voice before the sound even hits the digital file.
But wait, why can't I just trust my phone's automatic volume setting? Isn't that feature kind of redundant for, a non-professional?
It's redundant right up until the point the automatic setting fails you. And when it fails, it completely ruins the recording. Automatic gain control, it often just boosts all the background noise.
Okay.
But the biggest risk is clipping. If the gain is too high, the sound wave physically maxes out the digital limits. It creates distortion. We've all heard clipping. It's that harsh, staticky, stressed-out robot screaming in your ear.
Right, that horrible crunchy sound.
That's the one. Manual gain calibration lets you find that perfect sweet spot. You set the gain so your voice is loud and clear, but the visual peaks on that spectrum analyzer, they never hit the danger zone. It ensures a clean, usable audio file every time.
So the two technical tools work together. You use the gain calibration to set the level, and then you use the spectrum analyzer to make sure that level isn't causing clipping while you're actually recording. That is genuinely transformative knowledge for someone just using a simple app.
It is.
All right, now let's quickly cover the last two features. These are more about usability and efficiency. First up, background recording.
Purely practical. This is just essential for long sessions. Recording a full 90-minute lecture or a board meeting that goes on for hours.
Right, it saves your battery.
It saves your battery life drastically, and it lets you be discreet. You can just tuck the device away, and you don't have to worry about accidentally tapping the screen and stopping the recording.
And finally, what happens after the recording is done? The app provides easy management, a simple list of files, but the sharing capability is what the sources really detail.
Yes. A recording is useless if you can't easily move it somewhere else. So this generic app, it streamlines sharing with direct integrations to major platforms, email, WhatsApp, and Dropbox. That ability to capture a critical soundbite and then immediately share it with a collaborator on WhatsApp or just archive it securely on Dropbox, that's key to a really effective workflow.
Okay, that wraps up the tools. So now, let's put this all together into a practical, real-world workflow. And since we know you already know how to press start and stop, let's just focus on the quality control moments that prevent a disaster.
Absolutely. The moment you open the app, even before you hit that big red record button, you should go into the settings and find that gain calibration.
Set your level first.
Set your level first, do a quick test phrase, watch the analyzer, and make sure your input level is ideal for your voice.
Okay, so get the level set and then you hit record.
Yes. You start recording, but for the first, say, 10 seconds, keep watching that live audio spectrum analyzer. If the visuals are consistently too low, just pause, recalibrate the gain a little bit higher, and then resume.
And if it's peaking?
If you see that persistent peaking, that stressed out robot zone, you have to pause. Lower the gain or maybe just move the mic further away. This quick quality check at the very beginning saves you from having to re-record the entire thing.
And remember that crucial little detail. If you need a break, use the pause resume feature that keeps everything in one single clean file instead of creating, a dozen tiny little fragments you have to piece together later.
Exactly. And once it's all done and saved, the final step is just efficient management. Go to your list, find the menu, it's usually those three little dots, and immediately use the share function to get it archived or sent out. Use that quick access to Dropbox or email while the information is still fresh in your mind.
The fundamental takeaway here seems to be that the knowledge you need to produce professional quality audio, it's no longer just for studio engineers. It's literally in your pocket.
Yeah.
The difference between a clear record and a ruined mess is just the active use of those two pro features, monitoring the spectrum and calibrating the gain.
That's it.
So what does this all mean? The seemingly simple voice recorder app, it has democratized quality control. Tools that were once reserved for, expensive audio workstations like frequency visualization, microphone sensitivity calibration, they're now standard issue, even in a free ad-supported app.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really changes how we think about convenience.
Yeah.
We used to accept that convenience meant you had to sacrifice quality. Auto settings were fine, but they were risky.
Sure.
Now, these generic tools give us both. We get control and simplicity, which raises a really important question. Why would a developer even include these advanced settings if, say, 90% of users don't know what they are?
Right.
Because for that 10% who do know, those features are what will save their most important recordings.
That is a massive shift in capability. If a generic ad-supported app gives you the key tools to prevent distortion and ensure clarity, the real question becomes, what is the actual tangible quality cost of not buying the professional-grade software? Is that $300 program only necessary for editing? Or are there hidden capture settings that only the pros truly need? Something to consider the next time clarity is absolutely non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep exploring your sources, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.